Today we are going to go through grid challenge, which is a problem under greedy section of algorithm on Hackerrank. So without wasting time, let us have a look on the problem statement. So in this problem statement, we receive as input a grid of string. It's actually a matrix of characters. So we are going to take it like this. And then a matrix of character, that means we have a couple of string rows and then we have a couple of string columns. And then we are supposed to find out by sorting the rows ascending, do we have the column being sorted also ascending? If it is the case, you return yes, otherwise you return no. So basically that is our goal here. For us to understand more where we are going, let us take one example. So let us take this grid for instance as input. We have this array. So like we said, the first thing we need to do is sort the various elements of our grid, like the various rows of our matrix. And you can appreciate here that the rows have been sorted ascending. Now the challenge is, after the row being sorted ascending, do we have the column also being sorted? That means do we have A less than F less than K less than P less than U? Yes, it is the case. Is it the same for the second row, for the second column? Yes. Is it the same for the third, and so on? Yes. If it's the case for all of the column in the matrix or in the grid, you should return yes. Otherwise you should return no. Now, given that we are fully aware of where we are going, let us describe how will our approach look like. The approach will be first to sort actually our various rows. That's the first thing we are going to do. Once the rows have been sorted correctly, the next thing we are going to do is look through our matrix row by row, column by column, and then we are going to check if each of the element in the column is actually like greater or equal than the element directly before it. If it's not the case, we return no. And then if we find ourselves at the end of the last element of the matrix, then we are going to return yes. That is our goal here. That is our approach. So this is how the implementation will look like. The first thing, as we said, is sort all of the rows. So we are going to look So we are going to look through our grid, and for each of the element in our grid, we are going to sort the element, that means the string at that row. This is the sort being performed. Now that we have the sort being performed, we need to look through our matrix column by column. So I will use this for us to have something semantic correct. Now I'm allowing myself to consider the number of columns to the size of the grid, because we are using a square matrix. We have a n times n. If you don't have a square matrix, consider the size of the column being equal to the size of the first element in the array, not the size of the matrix. That is really important, but in our case we don't really need that. So the second loop is from the row moving from 0 row less than grid dot size row plus plus. Now there's one thing important you need to take in consideration here, is that whenever we want to perform the comparison, we are going to compare each element to the element directly above him, right? And the element above you is actually at row -1, right? It's actually a row -1, so it doesn't make sense to start row at 0. You need to start it as 1 to be able to perform the comparison perfectly. Now that we are aware of that, we are going to say, okay, if grade of row of call minus 1 is actually less than grade of row minus 1 call. Oh, this is an error. Grade of row call is actually less row minus 1 call, then just return no. What I'm saying here is, if I'm finding an element which is actually less than the element directly above him, so I return no. And if I find myself here, that means this condition hasn't been found throughout the process. So if I find myself here, I can return yes. So this is my approach of solving this. Let us run and see what it gives. We have congratulations, everything is green. So if you have any question regarding my approach, regarding my thought process, I'll be really happy to interact with you. See you on the next video. Ciao.